Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Metal Matt. This is going to be episode 2, and today I'm going to be talking about 5 of my favorite black metal releases that I have in my collection. Now, making this list was extraordinarily hard because there's so many good albums from the black metal second wave scene. These are going to be only 90s albums. Second wave, if you want to consider that second wave, I think that is. But there's just so much stuff. It was very hard to put this list together. There's just so many releases out there. I could have done a top 10, but these are just the 5 that I'm feeling are my favorite on this particular day. So to start things off, in the number 5 spot, I'm going to have Black Swans, When the Angels of Twilight Dance. Now, this came out in 1998. I have all my notes here. This is released by the Azrar label. Of course, this was the only time it was ever issued on vinyl, probably the only time it'll ever be issued on vinyl. This album is, you're going to notice a pattern that most of these albums have lots of symphonic elements, but this album, very symphonic, it's very melancholic, lots of keyboards. The singer is just constantly going with his raspy vocals. There's never a moment with clean vocals. There's some cool parts like in Autumn of Eden when there's a bit of a break and just this keyboard is going and the vocals come in and it kind of erupts into the entire song. It's a really neat song. I'm going to play a bit of a clip of it here in a moment when I'm done talking. But it's the album art is also pretty sick. I love that. It just really sets the tone for the album. It's like you're just sitting in the forest at twilight, watching the sun go down, waiting until nighttime comes, and then this is the music that you hear. It's really neat. These guys really knew what they were doing. I believe they did some demos beforehand, but their musicianship is excellent. They flow off each other really well. Most of the songs are rather slow paced. There's not a whole lot of blast beats in there. Slow pace is a bit of a understatement. It's like, overstatement. There are some like faster moments, but there's never a moment really when there's pummeling blast beats going on. But highly recommend that if you've not heard it. And here's the clip. Okay, so hopefully you like that song from Autumn in Eden, the little break part there. Now for our next album, we are going to have Vordvens, Towards the Frozen Stream. Now this was released by Gotawa Rex. I don't know. I believe it's a Japanese label or Chinese label, one of the two. But this is it's super symphonic, quite melancholic again. It sounds like, whenever I listen to this album, okay, look at the cover, hold on. Look at that cover. Very nice sketch of the forest, the stream at night. Whenever I listen to this album, I think of like a woman in a white dress standing on the top of a hill with rivers around her and big like trees all over the place. It's excellent. The musicianship is like very superior. There's some female vocals in there. It's the one little gripe I have about it, like even though like the melody is excellent, there's some blast beat moments. Actually, I have 2 gripes about it. Well, first of all, is that it's not the production is a little not that good. Some parts can be louder than other parts, and then you're kind of playing DJ with the receiver. But you can find a sweet spot and keep it going. But and another thing is that sometimes the synths can be a little too loud, so you can't hear the guitars all that well. But the melody and the songwriting and the structure just kind of makes up for all of it, and those problems are just completely blown away. So those are my only problems with the album, but it's excellent. It's so magical sounding, so mystical. it's like every song is perfect, and they do some Tolkien themes in there. There's a song called Rivendell. These guys were obviously super inspired by fantasy, and they just do a bang up job. It's like it's just every song is its own life. Every song is its own like its own universe you're stepping into, kind of, because every song is so unique from all the other ones, even though they all have that same like heavy synth and low tune guitars. Not low tune, I mean low in the mix. The guitars are standard tuning, but highly recommend to listen. I'm gonna play a little bit of a clip here of Dream of Northside. Hopefully you like that clip and Dream of Northside. It's a pretty cool part, right? It's a little slower and it's kind of got some really cool chord progression there. So after this album, up into my next spot, which will be the number 3 spot, we have Nocturnal Mortem's Lunar Poetry. Now this is, some people say this is like a demo, but I consider this a full length because the production is excellent. It's got like, how many songs here? It's got almost 10 songs. Might as well be a full-length album. This is released on Osmos Productions, and this album came out in 1996. I don't know if I said about Wardven, but that came out in 1999, so it was right on the cusp at the end of the 90s black metal scene. But anyways, Nocturnal Mortem's Lunar Poetry, songwriting's excellent. A lot of like pagan elements, folk elements. They really up the ante on those elements on their next album, which was Goat Horns, and then onward to Need Christ. But Lunar Poetry, it's what I really love about this band is not only do they mix clean vocals in, that's a really cool mix with those kind of operatic Norse sounding vocals, but what's excellent about it is the way that they infuse synth and piano with the guitars, because not one is too overbearing. They play off each other very nicely. When at like a simple riff will come in, the synth comes in and plays something a little more advanced, but they're all kind of at the same level, so you can hear both. You can tune into whatever instrument you want to really hear it well. They're from Ukraine, and they do it in a way that it's like the guitar and the keyboard, they're like dancing together, you know. And all the musicianship is tight. There's a bunch of members in that group, by the way. I think there's like 6 members in that band, or maybe 7. I don't know, but there's a lot of dudes playing in this band, and they can, like, it's insane what they can make on this thing. It's just like, I would never dream of writing such things like that, because it's just they're all in the same mentality of what to write. They know exactly how to do it, exactly how to play it. There's also a Celtic Frost. I think my favorite song on this is Perun's Celestial Silver. And of course, And Winter Becomes is also an excellent song. I'm going to play a clip here of Perun's Celestial Silver, and then we'll move on to the next one. So, hopefully you like that one. And here we are in our number 2 spot with Obtained Enslavement Witchcraft. Now, this came out in 1997. Some very awesome photos on the back cover here. Now, this is five guys were on this album, and this is of course another symphonic release. I like the cover as well, but what makes this album very unique is it sounds like, I believe the keyboardist, yes, it was Hex here. I believe this was the man doing the keyboards. I could be wrong. But when you know so much metal and stuff, you kind of get your facts mixed up. But what he did, he obviously had classical training, because he comes in with these crazy piano runs during the songs. Everything is just moving all over the place. It's flowing. It literally moves like a classical song. There is no other release like this. It's super hard to find something like this. Lots of melody. There's 2 tracks in it that are just piano pieces. Beautiful, super melancholic, very nice. This is actually a bit more of a recent discovery for me. I probably found it 1 or 2 years ago, but ever since I heard it, I've been absolutely hooked on it. It's tough to put this one down, especially when you hear the song 4 times. It has a weird name. From Times and Kingdoms. For some reason, I always think it's 4 times in Kingdoms, but From Times and Kingdoms has this super crazy spot. It sounds like angels are dancing or something, or devils. It just sounds like there's this dance going on in this huge castle hall. It's like, this is the ultimate vampire castle spooky place album. Not to put down Tartaros, if you know that album, the Spooky Castle album, but this one is they play everything in their own right, and they really, really know what they're doing. Everything's just so tight, so well mastered. It's like they're thinking about these songs for days and days and days. There's just so much thought put into this album to make every part layered and dense. That's the thing. It's the keyboards, the guitars, the bass, everything is kind of doing their own thing to make a very beautiful piece of music. Almost a little like Abigor's, what's that one, Twilight Kingdom? It has a Norwegian name or something. Nocturman? No, they're not Norwegian, sorry. Austrian band, I should know that. They that album has some title. But yes, so I'm going to play a clip here of From Times and Kingdoms, and maybe you'll like that. So From Times and Kingdoms, that was pretty wicked, right? With that kind of going up and down and stuff. It was pretty neat. Oh, the cat's here. Cat wants to see my number 1 pick. And my number 1 pick, it's going to be a basic pick. It's going to be Burzum's Vis Lyset Tardos. This has been my favorite for years and years. This is released on Back on Black Records. This is just everyone knows the story of Mayhem and Varg and all that, and the murders. We don't need to get into that here. But what I really like about this album is that I discovered Burzum back in high school when I was just kind of getting into metal. When I was listening to Judas Priest, Pantera, Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, bands like that. And then I put on Burzum. It was actually that one song, Run Gang, the ambient track. I put that on, and I was like, what the hell is this? This is so weird. It's just ambient stuff. I'm like, why would I ever listen to this? So, listened to it for a little bit, and then I shut it off. And then later that day, I think I was back home from school. I was like, that was so weird. I got to hear that again, right? And then so I looked up some Burzum online, and then I found this album, Hafis set Taras, and I put on Det Salmon Gangvar, and I was just blown away. Like that ambient opening riff with the keyboards going with the long drawn out guitar notes and getting into that super chunky riff with the boom 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 boom. So cool. Do I even play a song for this one? I think I will, but it's excellent. Every song on here is killer, and I like how the aggression of the songs ramp up until the very end. So it's like you have that song in Gangvar, which is like, it's a bit more slower paced, and then you get the title track, which is faster, a very hypnotizing song, and then you get the third one. Blanking on the name. How could I do that? It's because it's In I Slottet Fra Dromem, I believe, which is crazy. It's a song about a castle, by the way, a dark castle, and I think someone on a horse riding up, or maybe that's just what I imagine. When I listen to that song, I imagine black riders coming up on horses, going up to a dark castle. Really cool moment to listen to that. And then it ends with the ambient track Tom Het, which I believe means death in Norwegian. I could be wrong, but that's a really beautiful ending song on that cheap keyboard. Love that so much. So I'm going to play, just to change things up, I'm going to play a track from this album. I'm going to play Tom Het. So we'll be back in a moment. Okay, hopefully you like that ambient track. You probably know it if you're watching this video. But that's going to wrap up my top 5 favorite black metal 90s releases that I have in my collection. There's so many more that I could have mentioned, like Summonings, Minus Morgul, or Abagors from the Twilight Kingdom. Unfortunately, Arcanum did not make the list over there, even though I have the poster. But as I said, there's just so much to get into. So that's going to wrap up number 5, and I will see you next time in episode 3. So goodbye for now.